And we're live. How's it going, Michael?
It's going well. I'm just sharing the link to the YouTube live stream with the popcorn community. So I'm gonna multitask while we start this off.
Yeah, let's do it. So this is my my new studio. So I got all the Wi-Fi set up. Hopefully, it's coming through okay. Um, Hawaii. Actually, the funny thing about Hawaii, uh, we live on the other side of the island where there isn't many people out there that's currently streaming Netflix or anything like it is in California. So surprisingly, the connection to the world is better than I get in California and Hawaii. The only problem is that the Wi-Fi router is like way on the other side of the house. And so what I have done, I have this Google retransmitting routers that I put all over the house. So one of them is right behind me. You can actually see it right there. You see this little thing, and so that thing takes the Wi-Fi signal and gives it to another one like that. And they're not connected to the landline at all. So it's all getting retransmitted across the house. So yeah, looks like we have the stream going. So let's tweet it so to make sure that people know what we're up to.
Yep. Just shared it on the Popcorn DAO Twitter. Let me just post the link in our Discord. So you're in Hawaii.
Yeah, California got a little cold. I was out walking uh, at 6:30 a.m. and it was like 38 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm like, oh, it's time to bail, time to bail. And so, in Hawaii, obviously, it's not as cold and it's nice and moist. I mean, you stayed here with me for a while, um, so the weather is very similar, very similar. Every time I come here and every time I leave, I'm like, why am I leaving? Why am I leaving Hawaii? I just want to stay
I
here
don't know
forever.
why I left. I should have stayed. You know where I went actually right after that trip was to permissionless, which was right around the same time. Oh no, it was right after the Luna collapse, and because I remember we were like we were doing some fun stuff with that, but then yeah, now we're a live stream basically on one of the most epically disastrous weeks in crypto, perhaps.
Well, I would say Luna was a little bit more dramatic because I think what happened with when Luna happened, the Bitcoin dropped from like 30,000 to 20,000, just like I would say overnight,
Mm,
and it seems to be that market almost expecting those things,
hmm.
and certainly the situation with FTX was unexpected to me because 1 second they're buying all of the bankrupt companies. And today we hear the news about the FTX filing for bankruptcy themselves. Now, it is important to note that the trouble is really with FTX International, not the FTX .us.
Yeah, right.
So supposedly FTX.us is very well regulated, and people are quite liquid right there. I don't know if they paused the withdrawals from .us or not. But certainly, I think um, Sam has been. I mean, I can't say that he was very transparent. He's pretty much very transparent when he was put back into into the corner. But last week he was saying everything's fine. It's all just FUD, everything's fine. Then all of a sudden it's not fine. Um, and he did like apologize with this thread on Twitter, but unfortunately it's kind of too late. Too late. I mean, full disclosure after you collapsing is kind of like not really the definition of transparency in my book, at
Well, yeah,
least.
thanks for the apology, but I mean, yes, it's something that actually I'm still processing because like part of me thinks like none of this would have happened if he didn't do that interview with Voorhees, and then subsequently have CZ essentially just turn on him and then do that, it's a pretty gangster move that he did, right?
Well, I think uh, there's a lot of conspiracy theories out there, and
Yeah, it's
one of
going
the
conspiracy theories are like running through my head like all the time right now.
yeah, isn't there a conversation where they were saying that potentially he actually caused the Luna collapse too, and CZ actually knew that this is happening, so he was warning Sam uh, about something, and then but ultimately, I think what really upset CZ is the fact that they were a major stakeholder in FTX, and FTX apparently was lobbying pro regulations, but it almost felt like it was very self-serving in a sense where FTX would be the uh, the exchange du jour for the United States, and I would imagine he donated like $1 billion, like to the campaign for Biden, and I I don't really just see him loving Biden so much as he would love the fact that everybody is listening to him and the government. And so when CZ found out that oh, my $1 billion that was an investment went to work against me or against Binance, uh, that's what caused them to just you know make that tweet, and CZ makes the tweet, and everybody panics and start withdrawing. And according to Sam, people were on the margin, and potentially they used the FTT token to actually leverage against. Which CZ also mentioned on his Twitter. He said that like we would never use BNB that way, the way that FTX was using FTT.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think a very important variable here is like Alameda and how like they were very much kind of. I mean, the way I see the setup of like FTX and Alameda was that like FTX was sort of created as this like window into like the retail trading floor essentially, and they were able to process and anticipate a lot of things because of the information that they had. And kudos to them on setting up like a proper, well, at least like infrastructurally, like the exchange and how it worked. I mean, it was like a legit exchange, right? But I mean, Alameda being the one of the biggest bag holders of FTT, and that being, I think when Binance did their due diligence, taking a look at how FTT was like essentially what they were, most of their assets were in FTT. They were like, this is gonna crumble.
Yeah, and one thing I wanted to mention real quick, and are you familiar with this thing called a butterfly effect?
Yeah, like Contagion.
Well, no, about a butterfly. You know, it was actually in the movie Inception. So, like, remember some guy, like there was a little weather change or something. A butterfly flapped its wings, and it caused the guy who was boiling an egg to accidentally spill the pot of hot water on himself. That caused the chain reaction that went all around the world, and um, caused all kinds of things. Um, the thing, what happened with Zen actually, is that, remember that story where people who were staking FTT were able to get free gas? So
Yeah.
when Zen came out a week later, all of a sudden there's this news that some hacker was getting free gas to mint free Zen, and FTT or FTX was paying for it. And so I think in many ways that put a lens on the FTX's business practices. So we could have been implicated just by launching Zen and changing the user behavior, where the users uh, really figured out that, hey, I can just get a bunch of FTT, stake it, and while it's staked, I'm going to get free gas, I'm going to get free money. And so potentially a lot of people start looking into the mechanics of their business, and that could have been actually a contributing factor too. So that's, I'm not saying that that's exactly what has happened, but could have been a contributing butterfly effect on this whole thing.
I mean, I think it was contributing, but yeah, I mean, I think this whole thing stems back to way before. I mean, even yeah, I mean, so the thing is, and I think like, so right before I came to Hawaii, I was also at FTX Bahamas, and all of essentially the crime bosses were there, right? So like Suzu was walking around, Sam was obviously there. Um,
Crime
and
bosses. It's like you're saying it like I, like you want to be one. You want to be one.
oh, well, I mean, yeah, I think in terms of like how Hollywood has like illustrated like crime bosses, like for sure. But at the same time, I don't want to be Sam. I don't want to be Suzu. I don't want these people that screw people out of their money.
Well, you,
Uh,
you, you definitely do not want to be Sam this week. I mean, CZ, you want to be CZ definitely, because I mean he's definitely getting better press now because he can say, look, we're not doing what they're doing, and therefore we're actually keeping this whole industry solid. Um, so anyway, we have 119 people watching the stream right now, and we're getting all kinds of chats happening here, all kinds of questions. So should we jump into the topic of conversation, as far as staking Zen on Popcorn? and seeing
Let's
how
do it.
that works. And maybe uh, let's just give a little bit of a background in terms of how popcorn came to be. What's the story behind it? What's your story actually? So usually people interview me. So I don't have any script or neither do I have any practice interviewing other people. But it would be good to switch roles for just a second and have the audience hear kind of like your genesis story on popcorn.
Sure. So the spotlight's on me. I think I can handle it. Yeah. My name is Michael Kisselgoff. I'm the co-founder of Popcorn. I've actually been working in crypto since 2016. Um, Wrote a white paper with my previous business partner right when the Ethereum, well, early in the Ethereum bubble, let's say. So like basically, I read the Ethereum white paper in 2016, processed it, and interpreted it as this programmable blockchain. And I guess to go back a bit further, I come from traditional finance. I used to work at Credit Suisse in private banking, and I also worked at SAP in digital strategy for several years as well. So, anyways, I think like my background lend itself quite well to when I first read the Ethereum white paper, and I was able to like see like, okay, how this, how smart contracts and how the blockchain could change the future of finance. And funny enough, the first project I worked on was more biotech focused. So I think we created arguably the first biotech DAO. And what we did there was we tokenized intellectual property to use the tokens as a funding and licensing mechanism for bio research and development. I had no biotech background. My partner was an attorney, and it was basically his idea. He wanted to take down big pharma, so that's basically what I worked on for the first couple of years in crypto, which in retrospect, very naive, but also very fun because it literally not only is like my network that much larger in the Ethereum, not only in the Ethereum crypto space, but I really learned. Not only did I survive a bear market, but I learned a lot about exactly like how to build out a DAO and what strong token economics mean. And so fast forwarding to 2020 when the first like blue chip DeFi protocols came out, like Compound and Yearn. I was there farming and didn't really know what I was doing, but I mean, it was the first time where you could liquidity mine tokens on these protocols. And so, jumping to Popcorn, my partner and founder Anthony Martin, he had this idea of essentially taking the infrastructure for decentralized finance, using automated, smart contracts to automate lending, borrowing, leveraging, um, to generate yield, but also simultaneously donating to nonprofits. I thought it was a big idea, and also just like a tweak of the existing contracts that have been out there, or even like protocols, let's say. And so that's essentially what Popcorn is. It's a multi-chain decentralized finance wealth manager. And what we do is we create asset strategies, liquid asset strategies, where you can deposit your funds into our products. We optimize your yield and donate to nonprofits and social impact organizations at the same time, and at no additional cost to the user. So I basically make it super easy for you to deposit your crypto, earn yield on your crypto, and give back at the same time. And so we've been live for a year, and we have several products on the app. We're actually about to release many more products, but yeah, today is a big day because Zen staking is live, and I've been a big supporter of Zen. I've been a big supporter of first principles and blockchain. Since I learned about Ethereum and Bitcoin, and I think what we did with popcorn and even injecting more utility into Zen now, I think is the beginning of many more protocols to come along and kind of using Zen in their own sandbox to really like evolve this ecosystem.
Right. So popcorn is live and in trading today, right? So I can actually see it on CoinGecko right now.
It is. Yeah,
Nice.
it's on Uniswap, on Polygon and Ethereum, and we actually just deployed to Optimism. And so that's actually a big strategic move. We decided or the DAO, Popcorn DAO decided to remove liquidity from Ethereum and Polygon and put it onto Optimism. Optimism is an L2. And what they do is something very similar to what Popcorn does, is that they donate to public goods. And so for us to align ourselves strategically, like with a blockchain that shares our same mission, essentially, it just made perfect sense, and the community liked it too. But anyways, the Ethereum and Polygon pools will be closed very, very soon. The Optimism pool is live. And yeah, you can follow everything on CoinGecko and CoinMarketCap.
Cool. So staking Zen on popcorn. Let's talk about that. Let me get rid of the screen real quick. Boom. So we're back to full view. So tell us more about what is the mechanics of Zen on popcorn. And I think I should say that you guys are probably the first DeFi that decided to implement Zen on popcorn. So what is the advantage of using Zen within your DeFi? So tell the audience a little bit more about that.
Sure, and then I guess like I can share my screen and hop into. I can show you exactly how you would stake your Zen and earn pop, because it is live now. But so I guess to take a step back, I had submitted a proposal to the forum, or to the DAO, which is essentially how we make strategic and I guess like big decisions. I wanted to create a pool on mainnet, meaning that I wanted to offer popcorn users as well as Zen holders another way to stake their Zen. And in this case, you'd be earning the pop token. And the pop token is a governance token, and you need it to participate in Popcorn DAO. So what does that mean? Like, what does that get you, right? Well, not only is it a traded token, you can get it on MEXC, but you need it to stake to get VL pop, which is vote locked pop, which then allows you to participate in governance. And so in the white paper, if you read what we designed it for, initially it was for beneficiary governance and grant elections. So you as a pop token holder and staker, you'd be able to help us determine which charitable organizations we give back to. But at the same time, and I think what a lot has, or given the proposals that have been posted on the forum and Snapshot, is a lot of adjustments for like token economics or even rewards for certain products that we're coming out with. So in that sense, you as a popcorn token holder or pop token holder, you can help determine us reward certain products more so than others, reward even governance or people that are participating in governance more so. There's a lot of different things that we can submit to the forum, and if the DAO approves it, then we do it. So specifically with Zen, I had submitted a proposal. The DAO essentially voted on it, approved it, and now we've ended up with a Zen staking pool where you can earn pop with a really high APY. Well, actually, it's going down now. I guess people are already staking, funny enough.
Yeah, let's take a look at it, and then we can maybe jump into the technical details as far as why would people want to stake Zen in Popcorn. What do they get? What are the benefits? What does the yield means? Like, is it yield against the dollar or against the pop itself? Is it yield against Zen? So let's jump into the meat of things.
Give me 1 second. Can you see my screen?
This one? Yeah.
Yep. We are in there. So this is Popcorn DAO.finance. This is our app. I guess just to walk you through what's in the app. These are where all our products are. So if you go to the homepage, popcorndao.finance, at the moment there's roughly 2 million in total value locked in our smart contracts. If you scroll down, you can see some of the products that we have. So 3x and Butter, our stable coin, liquid asset strategies that have several $100,000 in each of them, and are offering pretty competitive APY. So like you can take your USDT, USDC DAI, throw it in there. And I'm not going to go into actually what's happening underneath the hood, but they are smart contracts that automate essentially a lot of the specific financial mechanisms that earn yield on your crypto, and then you can withdraw them or you can withdraw your stable coins, and it's pretty easy to use. And then if you click on staking, we have several products or tokens that you can stake at the moment. So you can stake the POP token, which you need to do in order to get vote locked POP to participate in this. You can also stake the stablecoin liquid asset strategy tokens to earn your POP. And here we can send crypto. It's live. And people are already staking their Zen because there's $1.5 thousand of Zen in there.
$1.5 thousand of Zen. So people stake Zen, and they're getting your token emissions is about 300 pops a day, or pop per day.
Yep.
And basically, what is how quickly can you get the pop?
Right. So I guess it'd be good to just walk you through how easy this is to do. So if you go to if you're on the products, or actually you can go to staking, or we'll bring you to this page, click on view. And so here's a staking page for Zen. And I guess like you asked, what are the mechanics behind this? So what this is, or what's happening here, is we have a pool of POP that we are rewarding users in aggregate roughly 300 POP. Okay. So about an hour ago, this variable APR, the annual percentage return, was quite high, and it went down to it's still very high, 2,000, roughly 2,300% right now. And it'll continue to go down. But basically what's happening is that the more people that pool, the less the APR will be, because it's essentially pro rata, meaning that if you deposit, let's say, 50% of the pool, you'll get 50% of that emission rate per day. And it operates the same way as our POP staking. However, with POP staking, there is a 12-week window that we people to, or require people to stake. So you can't unstake your POP for 12 weeks. But with Zen, we decided to not do that. So people could stake their Zen, earn POP, farm POP, meaning that they could take their POP and stake their POP and earn even more POP, and unstake essentially any Zen at any time.
So no penalties for unstaking then.
No penalties.
So it's almost like a free lunch.
Exactly.
So let me see if I understand this properly. people come with Zen, stake Zen, and they get a share of 297 pop emissions per day. So your emission rate is set, and it is
Exactly.
shared among all of the people who are participating. So the more Zen you put in, the more pop you're going to get as a share among the pool.
So the more Zen that's put in, the less of the share actually, and we set it up that way because that was we're doing this in a 12-week window. So on people to we're incentivizing people to come in to get the high APR in the beginning, which is like a typical liquidity mining strategy that a lot of like DeFi protocols like Yearn and Compound use in the beginning.
So for the sake of argument, here's a quick question. Let's say that I was a single user and I put one Zen into the pool and there was no one else, then I would be getting 300 pop per day. So that's how that works. But the more people join, the less share of that you're gonna get. So you're actually competing for the 300 pop daily.
Exactly.
Got it. Okay.
And yeah, let me just walk you through how this works because it's pretty slick, I have to say. So we'll have to connect. So I use MetaMask. It looks like we have Rainbow integration now. That's pretty great. But let's connect our MetaMask. And I believe.
Yeah. By the way, with the MetaMask probably will not show up because it's a plugin that won't show. So if you want people to see MetaMask, you're gonna have to share the screen, not the tab.
Oh, I see. Okay, so let me do that then. Okay. So I connected my MetaMask. I opened MetaMask. Can you see?
Yeah, I see right now.
Okay, great. So we're requiring $100 equivalent of Zen or more to stake, which in theory, I mean, if people are interested in this enough, should actually create some buy pressure on the Zen side. And that was kind of, I guess that was a spoke in the wheel in terms of submitting the proposal to the DAO and having people kind of like speculate on Zen. So anyways,
so this is basically Zen's first utility in the DeFi. So that's really exciting.
Yeah. So anyways, look at this. The APR is going down as we speak. I connect to my MetaMask. I'm going to throw in all of my Zen. So I believe that is 10,630,000. Or no, sorry, that's 1 million. Is it 10 million? It is 10 million. Okay, 10.6 million. Roughly, I think like $150. So I'm going to accept the reward terms and conditions. And this is an important piece of the puzzle here. So I'll just read it. After rewards are earned and claimed, 10% is immediately transferred, and the rest of the earned amount is unlocked linearly over the following 365-day period. So what does that mean? It means that the pop that you earn or that you're accumulating on the app, when you decide to claim, you get 10% of that immediately into your wallet. And then the rest is vested over 1 year, basically. And so the reason why we did that, and if you had participated in, let's say, yield farming or liquidity mining and other DeFi protocols, a lot of these protocols, and this is also like lesson learned kind of thing, they didn't vest their rewards. And so if you think about that from like a token economic perspective, you're essentially just rewarding users and giving them immediate liquidity to then essentially sell the token. And the vesting in this case for popcorn, it actually helps the market overall, and as like a popcorn token holder, it's beneficial for all of us. And so that's the reason why the lock and unlock is set up that way. But anyways,
So from the risk perspective, there's pretty much no risk. I mean, of course, the standard disclaimers apply. There's contract risk potentially, uh, but in terms of any sort of centralization, it's all just an interaction with the smart contract. You can stake your Zen, remove it anytime you want, and obviously, when you remove it, you no longer get the emission rate from POP.
exactly, yeah, and so that's an important point. I mean, we are non-custodial. This is a smart centralized exchange. You're depositing your funds. It's all being the yield aggregation is being automated for you. You can unstake at any time, and you're literally just interacting with the blockchain, essentially through a UI.
Nice, nice. I think a lot of people, especially in the light of the recent news, that's what they like to hear.
Yeah, it's now more important than ever, and I feel like I've said this however many times. While whichever disastrous situation happened in crypto, that I mean, this is the reason why decentralized finance exists, is such that you don't have to use these intermediaries that are acting criminally. These are trustless products, meaning that you don't need to trust. I mean, what you need to do is rely on the blockchain to actually like execute, rather than you trust. And that's really that was really introduced by like Bitcoin being the CDP exchange of value back in 2000, so 2008. Wow, that was a while ago.
Cool.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and see how it works. So you're approving the staking, and the MetaMask pops up.
Yep. You click approve for staking, and then MetaMask will show you give permission to access your Zen. I'm going to confirm. It's going to cost you gas. So by the way, this is on mainnet, and you'll need Ethereum to pay for your gas fees, obviously.
Right. So the approval process is just about $1 to in gas fees at this point.
So you'll see the wheel spinning. Zen is being approved. Zen is approved.
Okay.
And now I'm going to take my 10.6 million Zen, roughly $150. I'm going to stake Zen. I'm going to pay roughly $3 in gas right now. I'm going to click confirm. TikTok.
So in terms of the dollar amount per pop, it's about 30 something cents, and your emissions are about, I guess, $100 a day in pop, shared by all of the stakers.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So what you can do by staking your Zen and earning pop, and I'll show you where you can claim your pop. You can take that 10% that you immediately claim, or you can wait however long, and you can continue to claim the pop that you have on the app, and you can make your and earn more pop, and then you can actually take all that after the staking window is over, and then you can go to Uniswap, you can go to MEXC, and trade it. So anyways,
there's a quick question from the audience. Are there admin keys?
Are there admin keys for pop?
Yeah, I think that is the question. Does your staking protocol has a way to turn it on and off? I assume it does, because it has to, since you will be managing and changing the emissions potentially based on various economics, right?
Yeah, exactly. So we do manually top up the emissions. However, the staking contract, that's live, that's immutable, and it's on chain. So successfully staked XEN, you'll see your staked balance on the app, and then click here.
So 10 million XEN got staked, and now it's earning the share of 300 pop per day.
Exactly. And so that just brought down the APR down to 1.4 thousand K, or sorry, percent APR. And look at this, I'm already earning pop. It's already being calculated on the UI. You can see it right here. So your staking rewards are received for staking tokens. Rewards may be claimed on this page. Whenever rewards are claimed, 10% is transferred immediately to your wallet, and the rest is streamed and claimable over the next year. So I can click this arrow to go to the claims page, and I'm already staking pop with this wallet that I've connected. But now that I've staked XEN, I now have this guy showing how much pop I'm earning because I'm staking XEN. And so if I want to claim it.
So you're going to redeem some of the pop that just got generated.
Exactly. And given that it's a really low amount, but for the sake of the demo, I would like to show you what that looks like.
So basically, for people that are just getting into DeFi, what this looks like to me, it's almost like a trade that we're making with the smart contract, except we can get our XEN back, and you will get your pop that you can potentially do things with, or if you just don't care, you can just sell it on the open market.
Exactly.
And get some dollars.
Exactly. You're not losing the value at all of XEN that you put in. In fact, like you said, yeah, you when you unstake, you get that your whole bag back. And so with that pop that you earn, I mean, the way utility works basically is it is a governance token. It's very similar to many of the other governance tokens out there, meaning that you need the token in order to participate in governance. And for us, it's really about determining where funds go for charitable organizations, as well as helping us strategically evolve Popcorn, the token economics. Perfect example is us migrating to Optimism. I mean, that was a very big strategic decision that the DAO made together. And sorry, I'm just going to the rewards right now.
Okay, so obviously, as you mentioned, Popcorn is used for governance, and you can sell it on the open market because it's trading right now. What else can you do with it? Like, let's say you have a bunch of pop right now. So besides governance and trading it for stable coins, if you will, what else can you do within your system? Like, there's obviously you can stake pop right back.
Yeah.
And that's where the yield generation that you guys have implemented with things like Curve Finance and various other things actually will be generating yield with will it be generating yield in pop or stable coins?
So for the stable coin products, ones that we've released right now, so 3x and Butter, those generate yield in stable coins. However, the cool thing about them is that you can mint a 3x or Butter token by depositing your stable coins, your liquidity into those products. So not only are you generating yield, given the strategy that's being leveraged on the hood in stable coins, you can take that token, that 3x or Butter token, and then you can stake it to earn pop. And so I guess a lot of like what we've created here is as a pretty easy way to what we call farm pop with all of our products. And so the APRs or the yields that you see on the home page or on the product page, I'll just go to the home page right now.
So someone is asking, where is this manual pop coming from? I assume it's really just coming from the inflation, right? So you have the emissions of pop that are coming out, and you're inflating pop a little bit, but the mechanism to share this inflation, and this inflation obviously is locked at 300 per day, correct?
Exactly. And it's only going to last for 12 weeks. But I guess there's a bit to unpack there because our token or our total supply that we created and that will never be created more so is roughly 100 million. So I think it's actually like 99,999,700 tokens. There will be no tokens. There'll never be any more tokens created than that, and that's like in the code.
Okay, so so there is a cap, and you guys choose how to distribute the pop token all the way to the limit of the cap.
So the way our DAO works is any use of DAO pop tokens, they have to. It basically comes down to a vote. So for this specific Zen staking pool, the 25K pop that we voted on to pool was a DAO proposal. So us as core team members can't just take the tokens out of the pool that we created on Aragon, which is mostly where all our pop tokens are. It has to go through a DAO vote.
Okay, so real quick, the TVLs we're seeing, so it looks like we have $156,000 in dollars, and there are emissions of pop per day. The next popular one is $407,000, Butter version 2.
Mm-hmm.
And there are the APRs that you're showing. So those APRs,
Mm-hmm.
who is generating the APR?
So the strategies are generating the APRs, and what that means is that there's smart contracts that are essentially like automating the flow of your and I guess it probably just helps for more context explaining what's actually happening with, let's say, Butter or 3x, because they're actually very similar products. But for Butter, let's say, what's happening is that you're depositing your liquidity or your stable coins through that contract, and it's going into this. And now I'm going to go into a bit like some DeFi madness right now, so I guess bear with me. Your liquidity is being deposited into Curve, an automated market maker. Curve incentivizes liquidity by rewarding liquidity providers with fees that the protocol generates. So that's happening on one side. And now, because you're providing liquidity into Curve, the Curve issues you an LP token. And now there's another protocol called Yearn that takes those Curve LP tokens and farms them, meaning that it automates the generation of the fees on Curve into a pool basically that is associated with that Curve LP token. And there are enough fees that are being generated because there are millions of dollars being pumped through Curve on a daily basis. I mean, there's like basically, I'm not sure what the total value locked in the contracts are now, but there's millions, perhaps even billions the last time I checked, but that was a while ago.
So I'm sure somebody's probably thinking they could go to Curve themselves. Why would it make Popcorn route be better than just going directly to them?
we make it super easy for you to earn the yield. And in this case, it's actually quite competitive or even higher than what you can get on Curve. Um, the problem with Curve is that, I mean, even with their upgrade and their UI recently, it's very difficult to use. You need to really understand like what's happening, not only with the UI, but like what's happening underneath the hood. And then if you were to manually do all these steps on your own, so basically depositing liquidity into Curve, taking that Curve LP token, bringing it to Yearn, generating yield, and then unwinding and going back to Curve, because you would essentially have to, if you wanted to capture the full yield, which is what we do on Popcorn, you would have to, yeah, you'd have to unwind your position. And so now we're talking about like 6 to 9 transactions on mainnet. Mainnet is still expensive in terms of how much gas you have to pay. So we're talking about saving hundreds of dollars in transaction fees by coming to Popcorn and just clicking deposit, essentially. And that's it. So you pay one TX or one transaction fee essentially, and you're earning yield. And the USP really for Popcorn is that a portion of the fees that we take is being directed towards charitable organizations that the Popcorn DAO determines together.
So basically, if I were to explain it to the simpler portions of my own brain, you guys are doing on-chain automated yield farming for people across many different pools, and not just Curve. There's many others are involved, but to the end user, it looks like it's the optimal yield generation that the contracts are doing underneath and yielding people the APRs that they would otherwise have to go directly to each pool themselves. And you're aggregating
Mm-hmm.
everybody's Popcorn token, and it provides liquidity to those yield farms. And they do it with 1 or 2 clicks. They don't have to do a ton of transactions. They don't have to learn all of those yield farms or even know what they're called. At
Mm-hmm.
the end of the day, they just see the aggregated APR that they get. And when the APR is issued, is it issued back? It's issued back in POP, right? Because I see the third column here is like 65 to 143, 164 POP per day. So all of that is is all the yield is generated in POP, correct?
So we're actually on the staking page right now. So if this is where you can take all of your Pop, Butter, 3x, now Zen tokens and stake for Pop. Now, if you go to the, you will see it should show, yeah, there we go. You see the variable APR right there. So for Butter, that APR is actually in stablecoin. So that's pretty competitive. I mean, 3x is doing really well right now. Not exactly sure what's happening there, but I mean, it's also important to note that these are variable APRs. And I think like the interesting thing about the stablecoin product specifically is that the market can have a really good day, the market can have a really bad day, and the way some of these, or essentially the way the yield aggregation works is that given that it's dependent on fees that are being generated and farmed through Curve. If people are pulling out a lot of liquidity from Curve or they're depositing a lot of liquidity, they're essentially generating the same amount of fees. And ultimately, what we're doing is we're aggregating that. Like you said, we are like a yield aggregator of a yield aggregator, and that's how we get the APR. So all this is being done underneath the hood. We are audited. It's, like I said, non-custodial, and ultimately it's just we make it super easy for you to earn that yield with like one click of a button, basically.
Right. So a DeFi on-chain front end to yield aggregation and yield farming across many different yield providers. And the yield from those providers get from the fact that people are swapping their stable coins and various other coins, and the fees are getting generated through that swap mechanism. So similar to Uniswap, because when you have a Uniswap liquidity pool, you can set 0.3% or 1% fees on generated non-OLD transactions. So what you guys are doing is that you're letting people to stake POP and have it to be exposed to all of those farms and generate yield like that.
Exactly. And as we've been giving this demo, it seemed, I mean, the TVL is climbing pretty fast, I would say. I'm kind of surprised. But at the same time, I know there are a lot of Xenians out there, and a lot of people were excited about this. So it's great to see.
Yeah, it would be interesting what happens at the end of the day. I mean, maybe it will climb up, and I mean, but this is great. I mean, so people have minted Zen with just their gas money, and now
Mm-hmm.
they can get exposure to popcorn that they can also either hold, sell, trade, and potentially stake for stable coins or more popcorn.
Exactly. And I know you're an advocate of, I mean, you are a great educator, and I think DeFi can be a bit complex. I mean, even for me, when when I was talking about how I was farming Compound and Yearn, and when they first came out, I didn't really know what I was doing. I learned as I went along, and so there is a bit of a learning curve. And I think a lot of what we do in Popcorn is I said it before, we really do try to make it simple for the user. So this is kind of why the UI is pretty simple. It's, I mean, slick in my opinion, but it's like very straightforward in terms of the yield that you can see that you can get, the total value locked on our products, and how much pop we're rewarding on a daily basis. So I think Popcorn, the way we've set it up is actually more, it's a lot easier than I would say like if you went into Curve. I mean, Curve used to look like it was like a pre-Nintendo UI. I love Curve, but I mean, for the first time user, it was very difficult to use.
Yeah, I think just the amount of options that Curve has, you can easily get lost. Like you see all kinds of APYs and APRs there, but you really need to dive deep into the documentation to see exactly what is happening underneath there.
Exactly. And yeah, so anyways, the Zen staking pool is live. TVL is climbing. If you have your Zen, if you have $100 equivalent or more, you take it. You can stake it in the pool here, and this will be live for 12 weeks. And yeah, I'm gonna jump into the. How do I stop sharing my screen?
I'm going to help you out here. There we go.
There we go. Nice.
Nice. That's super exciting because that was the design for Zen, is to give it to as many people as we can in the world and have interesting protocols like Popcorn start implementing Zen and give it utility. And it looks like this is one of the examples of that utility.
Yeah, and I would expect more protocols to come along. I think like the rise of Zen has been spectacular, number one, and number two, given that it has captured like the mind share of crypto, especially like in these like really interesting times where first principles really matter more than ever. People can mint their Zen, and I mean that in itself is an introduction to crypto, right? Because like you do have to think about your strategy about how long you want to stake your Zen. But if you do have Zen available, you can go to now, let's say like Popcorn, or I wouldn't be surprised more DeFi protocols come along and incorporate it into more yield generating strategies or what have you. I mean, I know like the NFT launch is coming up soon, so that's going to be very interesting. And so, Web3, I think, is just it's just a gigantic playground, right? Because it's all, I mean, we're all working on these open source, we're working in open source technology, We can all see what we're doing, and there are a lot of extremely smart people in the space. In my opinion, the smartest people that I've met in my professional career. So it's exciting. I think this is. I'm happy that Popcorn is the first protocol to incorporate Zen, given you guys are huge advocates of like first principles, and that's something that we really believe in.
Yeah, yeah, super great. I have minted a little bit of Zen myself. I'll I'm going to see if I can put the hundred or whatever $150 to see how that works. I mean, obviously the emissions is only about 300 pop, but hey, I mean, if my there's options what you can do with Zen today. I mean, you could hold it, you can sell it, you can stake it for more Zen, or now there's an option to have a portion of that stake to be allocated for popcorn.
I think there's something else that's important to bring up is that there was a proposal that was passed to launch Zen stake pools on all chains that Zen is on. So this is not the only staking product that we'll have for Zen. We'll have staking for Zen on all chains.
That sounds great.
So
Yeah,
yeah, and there
because
there
that's gonna
there
save on gas, obviously. So and if you guys go to BSC Binance, that's a huge exposure to Binance ecosystem. They have a lot of people. When we launched on Binance, we actually had more people coming in to mint just because it was 20 to 30 cents and not a couple of dollars. And so I think
Mhm,
reaching for people across different chains or having the in omni-chain strategy is really also part of the first principles, because like we have seen just a couple of days ago when the FTX fiasco news broke, I think the base fee for Ethereum went to 600 Gwei. Now 600 Gwei actually means that you have to pay $120 to start your C rank claim with Zen, which I would say
mhm,
is it was short lived. But what we saw on Etherscan is that we saw a pause in an activity for C rank claims, which is actually bullish for Zen's value. So Zen is really linked to the fluctuations of the gas, and if the gas gets
mhm,
permanently high, then if you minted Zen for $3 per wallet, then you have locked in the sort of gas arbitrage, if you will, because gas can go higher,
mhm,
but Zen will become even more deflationary. So deflationary curve flattens, and that will make Zen more valuable. So it's kind of like almost gas futures, if you will. So you're buying some gas futures with Zen by locking in
mhm.
at a lower rate.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Awesome. Well, great to have you in Hawaii virtually. So thanks for the detailed explanation. Uh,
Well, I'm in London right now, so yeah. Let me just imagine that I have your weather because the weather here is really just
well,
well, it's
that's why I said virtually. I do not want to be in London virtually or physically.
yeah,
But
yeah,
hey, I
yeah.
mean, there's one benefit. You're on UTC time, right?
I am.
Right. So you and I think Great Britain used to be the center of the world. So that's why we have UTC.
London is I mean it's a great town. So I mean I'm mostly here because of Token 2049 right now. So I think we started the talk where I was talking about being at Permissionless. That was like the last conference that I've been at, and it was like Luna was the talk of the town, and now FTX was. No one was really discussing anything else except for the contagion of FTX. Um,
Yeah,
so
yeah, it would
yeah,
be very interesting to see what happens with the contagion if there is any. I mean, ultimately, I think people who are doing the wrong things in the ecosystem, they don't deserve to stay alive. So stronger projects out there deserve to take the market, and they do it for the right reasons, for the safety reasons. Where somebody who is practicing unsafe crypto, whether it's off chain or centralized, uh, I think this
Yeah,
market is really getting through this sort of a stress test, and whoever fails the test disappears.
yeah, and I've seen the market go through the stress test like several times. I mean, I would say like arguably in the first, or I guess the 2018 to 2020 bear market wasn't the first bear market, but I think like everyone was kind of like waiting for like the next like real use case, which I think is DeFi, and so DeFi is really still in its own in the early stages. I think we were talking about Curve, and we're talking about these other protocols out there. A lot of this is going to be, in my opinion, like the infrastructure for the future or the new way of doing finance. And I think there legitimately is something. I think there's legitimately crypto karma, where if you're an institution and you come along and you promise higher rewards because you're doing something, perhaps fraudulent or something fishy, and cooking the books or what have you, it's not going to work. It doesn't work in crypto. What does work is are the smart contracts, is the blockchain, and the communities that build around them, which is like the most interesting thing about being in Web3 and crypto, is that the people that get involved and how they're able to coordinate and get involved very fast is, I saw it happen with Zen. I was in the Zen Telegram group when it was like, I guess we were like 20 people there, right? And that exploded because people really did believe in the narrative of first principles. I mean, bringing it back.
Yeah, well, I always say that the bar has been set so low. Uh, it's
Yeah,
it's not very hard to get something out there that's actually legit, on chain, self custodian, no admin keys, and just following first principles of crypto. I mean, like, we didn't even need to invent the new white paper. It was all in Satoshi's white paper in 2009. So I often say that Zen is an application on top of the blockchain and uses the blockchain how it's meant to be used. And so I think that resonates with people and with the world, and that's why there's so much excitement. And of course, being omni-chain is is, I would say, a multiplier on the fact that uh, you don't have to be locked in to any sort of organizations or DAOs that, even though decentralized, but still subject to the, I would say, local weather of those chains.
right.
All right, dude. Well, thanks for coming online with me. And looks like we had 130 people listening to us. It's actually, I think, for my channel, which only exists for about a month, is probably a record. So
Is it?
yeah, yeah. It's so thank you for bringing cool things in. And uh, obviously, if there's any material that I should retweet, just let me know. And or any sort of guides to how to use popcorn, just comment on my tweet so that people know where to get more information.
Sure thing. Yeah. And this is obviously recorded too because it's going on
Of
YouTube.
course, yeah, it's gonna stay. All right,
Yeah,
awesome. Good to see you. Let's talk again sometime today, and maybe you can guide me to how to stake a little bit of Zen.
for sure. Thanks for your time.
Thanks. See you.
All right. Bye bye.